people living a society, a town, actually a town operating in Christian state before anyone in the United States.
Okay. Well, our phone lines lit up, my son.
Good morning, Carla.
Good morning, buenos días.
Buenos días.
Esta es una aventura de isla.
Esta es isla muy bien y bonita también.
Gracias. Good morning,
Good
Carol.
morning.
Hey, how are you?
Where's my Democratic card?
You terrible, you know, behave yourself. We're talking about Emancipation Day.
Well, that's emancipation. It's all related.
But you're right. You should have your card.
They took my money, they didn't give me the card. That's emancipation. You liking me?
Call Dr. James.
Anyway, I'm calling just to put in a little bit of 2 cents in the emancipation. Emancipation is part of being free, right?
Yes.
And I believe in reparation through education.
I like that.
Okay, emancipation through education. And one of the things, about the Constitution here, you know, this place is so wonderful. The Virgin Islands, the United Snakes Virgin Islands now. And that is the problem. The problem is that we, under the American flag, right, an incorporated territory, right? And you know, in America, the thing is about democracy, right? And the democracy, the theory of the democracy is that, you know, the basis premise for the American democracy is like the Constitution, right?
Yes.
That every American citizen has the right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
Right? But you can't have that unless you stand up and be counted. Because in America it's about numbers and statistics. And we as a people, I'm talking about the African Caribbean descendants, right? Everybody formed their own political ideology through, you know, their education, their sex, their background, their personal experience. In different islands, and I was able to become aware of that because I was born in San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic. Now, you know that area from the early 1900s were populated by Antiguan, Nevisian, Santomians.
And people from the Virgin Islands, I know because my great-grandfather went there as well.
One of the big ones were Arona Peterson. Arona Peterson spent time in the Dominican Republic in San Pedro as a little girl. You know, and we have many more, the Vantapols, everything. But every island had their own way of forming political ideology, and then they all went through slavery. But these islands, which are called now the United States Virgin Islands, they went through a harsher treatment within the Caribbean. One of the ones was, it's like you had 6 different governments because 7 makes the American, right?
Yes.
Okay, and all of those different governments that came, and the Danish were the worst, right? That was the longest, and that was the worst when it comes down to the treatment of the people. And people that come from other islands, their experience in slavery wasn't the same, and their mental experience is not the same. And when they come to the United States Virgin Islands, they're not looking at the United States Virgin Islands the way Virgin Islanders are looking at it. And since this place has not been able to define itself through its own constitution, you know, that is causing a problem. I believe that the people from the Virgin Islands should write their constitution. I'm an American citizen, and I'm a black Caribbean woman. And there were black Caribbean people fighting everywhere, from Malcolm X to Marcus Garvey to everything. We were there. We just didn't have the label that we put ourselves now.
Right.
There was a petition with Marcus Garvey that if you ask a lot of the petitions that are proud to be 100% petition, some of them don't even know that this, Samuel whatever existed. And he was one of those that went over there and had to scrub bathroom floors, having an art, having something to earn his living, because these unions were all by white people. And Marcus Garvey during that time. And I have asked people from St. Kitts. My grandmother was born in St. Kitts. I made petitions here that they're like, well, you ain't born there. So we still have that hate, that division, and that mental stuff of not knowing that we all in it together.
I like that.
Unless we stand together And over here, the problem is defining yourself. And the problem that caused, because everybody that comes from other islands or from anywhere, we under the American flag. People could come from everywhere because that's what America is, the great gate, the milk and honey. Which, it's like equal opportunity to what? For you to be a bum, for you to die. There's an equal opportunity there, though. And it's up to, but we as the people, we think we better, and we have been divided mentally through that whole slave stuff. The residue. And then we keep talking about it, and it's like, you have to face it, acknowledge it, know about it, and take it and move on.
You said it well.
And
you
it's
said
like,
it well. And you know something? I'm sure you're speaking from your own experiences as Santo Dominican,
not
Caribbean,
Santo Domingo.
We're black Caribbean woman.
Listen, correct that. I am from San Pedro, the Dominican Republic. It used to be named Quisqueya, and then it was named Española. So the master piece of land get named, and then the people claim that name. I'm not, I am a African Caribbean woman.
All right.
African Caribbean woman, I got you. I correct that. I stand corrected.
Okay, thank you very much. There.
Right. Thank you very much. We have to remember that we all in it together, and it's us, and the people here need to define themselves, and the people that become naturalized citizens, they need to be given the Constitution. You have to go to that paper in order to correct stuff. And everybody has their own interpretation because of their own political ideology. And most of the people that come from the other islands, they do keep that they come here because this is America. They're not looking at it as the island. So they are going to get together. They're going to have their little special interest group, and they're going to get the jobs, and they're going to progress because they're not thinking about it as you think about it that are born here.
Thank you.
And they need to learn that instead of saying Democrat, Republican.
Okay. You know something, Hugh? I just thought about something. And, I don't got
it. looked like Gemma had something to say.
I really applaud that particular idea that liberation is actually educating yourself, right? Or emancipation through education. Because if you actually open your mind and you open your perspective and knowledge, that's the only time that you can understand where you are standing and where you're going to.
Okay. Well said, but what I was going to say was history got a way of coming full circle. That's what you have to understand it, and that's what you have to pay attention. And I bring reference to last month's President Obama's visit to Puerto Rico. Now, that was the first time a president since John F. Kennedy visited Puerto Rico, but his visit had a purpose. The Puerto Ricans and their vote is of significance to him and his re-election. Okay? There's tons of Puerto Ricans in Florida. Obama wants to get a better footing in Florida. So yeah, the politics always comes into play. But guess what? He made sure that early in the game, to his re-elections plan, that he went back and embraced Puerto Rico.
You getting that with a man's secret,
No, everybody needs to know that. That's what it is really, really and truly. That is what it is. He knew it was important to come and embrace the Puerto Ricans from early because he wants their vote for his re-election.
All of those things that the history that we get in over the airwaves and some of these people who's calling it is great significant to us moving forward. While they're talking, and the lady are talking about independence through education, Bob Marley came to mind.
Yeah?
The Independence song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great song.
They said, none but ourselves could free our mind. Only we could free our mind.
That's true.
From mental slavery. Right. And if we don't start doing it now, when it going to happen? We can't live this life and not secure a future for our children them, and not let our children them know who they are, and have a document that could say, hey, look, this is yours.
That's right.
Today, in this time. Let's go to the next caller. Where am I? Good morning, caller.
Morning, Mr. Hugh.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Miss Brooke, and your guest.
Yeah, morning. How are you?
I'm sorry that the gentleman who called sometime this morning kind of changed the tempo of your show today, but I want to let him know he ain't talking for me.
I know.
Oh,
I know he's talking
so
for you.
For himself alone. And I don't think he really should go that route at all.
It wasn't even necessary.
No, it is. It should not be. Because he should, if somebody individually have done him something wrong, well, deal with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Because so many Cushion people married to man and woman, vice versa.
Lordy,
They're living together, and then he's stirring up some kind of a thing there. Which
unnecessarily so.
Exactly. And let me ask you a question. Somebody say he's from Antigua, right?
Yes. Someone of the
That's a caller. That if I'm here, that's what a caller.
No, the caller said he was from Antigua, right?
Right.
Wherever he's from. Let's say he's from Antigua. Does he accept all Antigua?
No.
Does he like all Antigua?
We wonder, right? But do you ever like all people?
You have a family of brothers and sisters, 6 of them together, and there's one of them, even the very mother don't like.
Uh-huh.
Lord, you coming deep, Nova. You coming deep.
It's true. He himself contradicted himself by saying,
yeah, he did.
They expect everybody to think alike. Everybody's not going to think alike, like he said. So everybody's not going to like him, and he's not going to like everybody either. So he should just leave this kind of thing alone and let things.
Yeah, because you know what he did? He bring a broad brush and painted Virgin Islanders with a broad brush, and it was not correct. It ain't right. It was just dog right. It's offensive.
That ain't right, because I don't blame you to accept it that way, because I live next to people from here, and I don't have no problem with them, and I will stand behind them and they'll stand behind me. I have been in a situation where a Cushion person stand up side by side with me to fight another people and the other person is Cushion too. So I don't know what he's talking about. And there are Cushion people who have embraced people just even more than their own people, so to say. So I don't think he should really go that right. And I'm sorry he tried to talk for everybody, and he's wrong. Deal with the issue. If you have an issue with the neighbor, deal with that issue. And
I think you said it perfectly this morning.
They probably have a problem with his neighbor, because if he was living good with his neighbors, he wouldn't say this kind of thing. Because I live good with my neighbor. Whatever I go in my yard, he carry his for me. So how would I stay here and he listening to the show and hear me say that kind of thing? So what's gonna happen? Anyway, you folks have a good.
Thank you.
By the way, before I go though, I have known native Cushion who respect federal holidays more than the local holidays. Because I have had arguments.
And that's people's individual choices.
I have had arguments with certain individuals saying, man, this is supposed to be your holiday, and you should show respect for your holiday.
Yeah. But you know, a lot of it come with our point of references, our own experiences. Like you got people who've been to the military, you can't tell them nothing about none of them. Veterans Day, Emancipation Day, they got strong ties because of their experiences and the point of reference to those holidays. And that's people and the individual choices.
Honestly, you know, when I was actually in my country and in other country where I worked before.
Thank you.
Right?
Okay.
Thank you. Where I worked before, right? And I actually hear this music, the reggae, the cultural presentation. I just see them passing. But when I came and live here, and I see people who embrace their culture so much and love their culture so much, and I say, oh, wow, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the ice from somebody. I want to say you're an outsider. You're not an outsider. You're here living. But somebody who came, looked in, and you saw, and you could appreciate it. And you know, your comments are well taken.
Thank you.
You know, I got a motto. I said, I didn't know better then, but I know better now. And I always say,